Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the blue trunks with the gray stripe. He scaled 8 stone, 11 pounds, bang on. His professional record, 7 wins, 2 defeats, 1 draw. He has 3 wins coming by way of knockout. Presentando de Huigalpa, Chontales, Nicaragua, Felix Garcia. And his opponent across the ring fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the gray trunks with the white and gold stripe. He scaled 8 stone, 12 pounds, bang on. His professional record, thus far perfect, 13 fights, 13 victories, 3 of them coming by way of knockout. Here is Leeds' own undefeated Jack Bateson.
Okay, boys, you both know the rules. I want you to obey my commands. If I tell you to break, break clean. Defend yourselves at all times, boys. Good luck to you both.
So 6 rounds of super bantamweight. This is a 124-pound catch weight limit. Jack Bateson, the home fighter on your screen there. The silver trunks trimmed with white.
Seconds up, round 1.
His opponent, Felix Garcia, in the blue shorts. So you're watching Before the Bell live. Welcome to you if you're just joining us from wherever you're watching around the world. Chris Lloyd and Darren Barker, and very, very pleased to be joined by our good friend Cyrus Pattinson, who was a member of Team GB setup and was alongside Jack Bateson for a few years, I think, weren't you, Cyrus? You know Jack?
Yeah. He was on GB just before I got onto the squad, so I actually I had my first tournament alongside Jack Bateson. We travelled to Hungary and we were boxing Boxai. That's where I got the silver medal from my first tournament.
Yeah, good circuit, aren't they? Those really, really good learners.
Really quick hands, Jack Bateson. You can see he's got that amateur pedigree. He's caught with a right hand there, but nice and slick. Quick hands. I guess you would have seen a fair bit sparring then, Cyrus.
Yeah,
Jack.
yeah. I didn't spar with him because he was a bit lighter, but it was interesting to see how he was going to start this fight actually, because I think it was his last fight against Joe Ham where he started as a southpaw. For the rest of his fights, he started as an orthodox. Sometimes when you're in opposite stances, it creates a little bit more space. It gives you a little bit more time to react in that half a second. We started well, Jack, this fight.
Tell you what, Felix Garcia, fancies this. He's thrown some big overhand rights, Chris.
Well, it was interesting because he had a decent start to his career in 2015. He had 7 fights, he had 1 draw, and he's really aggressive. He's come forward. You can see he's compact. When he lets his hands go, he's really game. But 5 years out, and he's just come back, and he's lost the 2 fights since he's come back, both against very, very good fighters. And I couldn't work out whether he decided to kind of go on the circuit, make some money, but when he does decide to sit down and fight, he can really scrap. It's hard to know what Jack Bateson really is up against here. He had a good test last time out against Joe Ham, put a decent amount of pressure on, but he was composed on the back foot, maintained the distance, got a very, very wide base, which is quite typical of the GB fighters. Nice check right hook there. Just got the attention of Felix Garcia. Just got the sense, Darren, I know you wanted to see a little bit more aggression from Jack Bateson, and he's got a few hundred people that he sold tickets to impress here.
Already in this first round, he's looked a bit more aggressive than I've seen him in any of his previous fights. Just want to see him bite down on his gum shield. Like you say, when you've got a few of your supporters here, you're in a great stadium like this, you want to impress, and this is the entertainment business. So though he's got all the flashy skills, the quick hands, the quick feet, the quick head movement, you want to see him bite down and let them shots go with a bit of spite. Be vicious.
So first of 6 rounds in the books.
How good is this, Chris? Having supporters back. This is brilliant. We've missed this.
Yeah, not bad at all, is it? Not bad, and it's going to be rocking a little bit later on.
What a time to be a young professional, eh, Cyrus?
You're back out soon, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, definitely. I'm boxing next weekend in Barcelona. I think there'll be a good little turnout there. I think there's 8,000, I think. So I'm really looking forward. I had a little bit of a break between, obviously, fights. I would have preferred to be back in a bit quicker, but it's only next week now, so I'm really looking forward.
Well, we'll be at this, Cyrus. Really looking forward to Barcelona. It's gonna be great, and it's only a day's work for you. The amount of travelling you've done.
Definitely.
Nothing new for you.
Nah, it's only an hour travel, or 2 hours, I think, on the plane. So it's a bit better than going to Mexico and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, funny enough, I boxed in Mexico WSB with Jack as well.
Of course, yeah.
Aguas Scaliantes, I think it was.
Well, you had some good wins in the amateurs. Worth mentioning, you beat Scott Fitzgerald in the amateurs. You beat Suleiman Sissoko, who's doing very, very well in the professional ranks. So, I know how close you were to pipping Josh Kelly for his place at Rio. One point on one judge's scorecard at the Olympic qualifier. In fact, not to remind you of that, but of course it's been the making of you in many ways, Cyrus, and we're looking forward to the pro journey.
Definitely. Sometimes it works out for the best, I think. Blessing in disguise. Sometimes not getting what you wanted is a wonderful stroke of luck. Because I do believe that if I did go to the Olympics, I probably would have turned professional sooner, and I wasn't. I'm not the fighter. I wasn't the fighter that I was then. So
yeah, of course.
The fighter I was then.
He had some good rounds with Jorge Linares in helping him prepare for the Luke Campbell fight as well.
11 rounds,
plenty of those experiences that build you up to where you are today. And Jack Bateson has had a sort of slow but consistent build to get him to 13-0 at this point, and he's looking strong in the ring so far. Garcia trying to hold centre ring. Bateson putting the shots together well. He's feinting up and down with that lead hand, looking for the long left.
Yeah, I'm liking this from Jack. You know, he's been under a bit of pressure at the start of this round, but he's trying to let those shots go with a bit of spite. That's what I want to see. You know, I've been impressed with everything else.
Yeah,
always
definitely.
thinking, sorry,
That's
Cyrus.
all right, mate. Very nice to see he's not as flighty as he has previously, and like you say, he's digging them shots in and just poking, looking set up and looking for the openings.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? Really, really looking for them, and he's kind of counter-punching, but on the front foot, which is, like you say, not a brand new thing, but good to see him doing it more consistently. Perhaps he understands that that's where his value as a fighter, his stock's going to rise, just being a little bit more exciting, being a little bit more aggressive, and he's going through the gears here, Bateson, sticking and moving, but sticking with force. Garcia absorbing it well, nice big long right hand, and he does sling the left hook and the right hand like a baseball bat. He's heavy-handed when he does land them.
Yeah, that was one of the questions, you know, I want answered. You know, how will Jack Bateson fare when he's in there in a 10-rounder, 12-rounder against someone, and this is no disrespect to Felix Garcia, but someone who's a bit more compact, a bit more polished, who's going to be throwing shots, who can't be hurt, who's going to be there in the later rounds. You know, looking forward to seeing what Jack Bateson's made of.
It's not a division domestically that there are any obvious kind of world level contenders at this point, as Jack Bateson just takes a right hand on the turn there.
3, 4.
Well, I think he thinks he got his legs caught up. We'll have to have a look in the replay.
7, 8.
Right on the bell there. I don't think he's hurt at all. I think maybe he's just clipped by something as he got his legs tangled up. We'll try and get a look at that just at the end of that round there. And he was disappointed, almost irritated to get a count. Kind of that weird grey area where the feet have got tangled up. He's taking a shot as well on the way down, perhaps. Yeah, even in slow motion, very hard to see.
It was like a loop in right to the body, wasn't it? I mean, the shot landed. Look,
hard to give that a real knockdown.
It is. He did drop from a shot though, whether he's off balance or not. Like, if it wouldn't have been called a knockdown, I wouldn't have said anything. It's one of those.
Well, giving Felix Garcia just something to cheer about, I suppose.
Seconds out.
I think
Round
this will
3.
spur Garcia on. I think he'll come for a little bit more now and start applying a little bit more pressure. He seems to think that it was a clean shot.
The one thing I didn't see in that highlights was the feet. If they did get tangled up, I was looking more at the shot. If the feet did get tangled up, then obviously shouldn't have been a knockdown. But like I say, a shot was landed to the body. He was not hurt at all, obviously. But Let's see how he reacts to it, Bateson.
Tell you what though, Garcia putting the shots together well. You could see against Pelagi, who's a southpaw himself. Obviously, Bateson can switch from time to time. Pelagi's a southpaw, stylistically dissimilar to how Bateson's boxing tonight. You see the first couple of rounds in that fight, Garcia was just kind of in journeyman mode, just absorbing shots, parrying, sticking around the outside. And then in round 3 and 4, decided just to start putting his shots together. And he looked dangerous, as he does now in spurts. Puts a lot into these shots.
He really does. That right hand is there's a lot of power in that. Oh, and he took one there, Bateson.
Oh, he's
That was
taken
clean.
3 in succession there. And Garcia just suddenly fancies this, and Bateson just having to use his mental faculties, gain some composure, holding centering again, using the feints, but Garcia has made this a fight all of a sudden.
Great to see Bateson back as a southpaw. I think that just creates that little bit more space, and I think a little bit more. It's easier to see that backhand coming from now.
These are some of the questions that I wanted asked. You know, how would he fare? And he passed them, you know, he took a big right hand there. He can punch Garcia, and there was a big right hand, another right hand. I'm surprised he's not seeing these coming. And I mean, they are thrown with some speed from Garcia, but they're wide, and with the quick feet and reactions that Bateson has, he should be getting out of the way of these right hands.
He's got an unorthodox rhythm though, Garcia, isn't he? He's a little bit ungainly, and when he throws like that, suddenly springs into range, covers ground, actually pretty well on the front foot. When he loops them over the top, they come from down by the hip, sometimes not always easy to see coming.
Definitely, I think it's them unorthodox shots that kind of make it a little bit more difficult to defend against, don't they?
I never forget, Costa Zuz saying that he was so polished as an amateur that whenever he come up against a style, a similar polished style, he knew exactly how to counter the shots. But when he come up against sort of African nation styles where they were very unorthodox and come over with big right hands, left hooks, he didn't really know what to do. He didn't really know how to train for it.
See another swing and a miss there from Garcia. You see the concentration on Bateson's face, in his eyes, as the sunset just starting to poke through the clouds for the first time. That's hopefully a good omen. But right now, Jack Bateson has got other things to think about. Just tries to turn himself back to centre ring, and he switches stances as he does so. Pretty good 3 rounds in the books, and Bateson absolutely not having it all his own way here.
No, he's not. Garcia really fancies it, and I mean, that second round was a difficult one to score, because if that's been classed as a knockdown, I had Bateson winning it. So would you call that a 9-9?
Well, I suppose you can do, yeah.
Yeah. I think the last round, I think Garcia done enough there. There was some good work, I thought, from Garcia. Bateson, for me, just needs to get behind the jab now, start picking it off and start getting his range and his distance back. Just kind of lost it in that 3rd round for me.
You've got things level at the moment?
Yeah.
I would like to see Bateson use them straight shots again. I think that that's like almost a deterrent for those looping shots. I think it's when he holds his feet and starts throwing those bent arm shots, you might be a little susceptible to being countered with those looping
Seconds out.
right hands.
Round 4.
Into round number 4, and we see Jack Bateson just reverting to type a little bit here, just sticking and moving on the outside, as we know he can do so well. As I said, he was under some sustained pressure against Joe Ham, and he dealt with that pretty well over the 10-round distance. It's a different sort of pressure. It's more unorthodox kind of pressure. These bursts and raids, and they're aggressive bursts too.
That's it. Stand there, hold the centre of the ring, poke the jab out, head and body, good variation with it. Stay away from the ropes. Just try to get a rhythm back. I think the feint as well, we talked about in the last contest. I think the feint would be good. Try and get Garcia to let those big right hands go, and Bateson, with the skill and the speed he has, come back with a quick flashy right hands to the head and body.
I mean, against the Joe Ham fight as well, where I felt like as soon as he switched to orthodox, it just brought a whole new dynamic to the fight, and I think that was the moment when the fight changed. Bateson's a great thing to have in your arsenal to be able to switch, but you do need to be able to be careful that you don't get caught on the switches.
There's always that danger, isn't there, when you're switching, that you come square on.
The Bateson southpaw now, just trying to bait the lead from Garcia to counter. Nice left hook to the body there.
It was good shot, picked that well.
Garcia took this one on relatively late notice. This is where the energy level started to sap, and Bateson can just put a bit of distance between the pair of them. Feet just seem to have slowed a little bit, Garcia.
They have. So has the output. Put a lot into that third round. Garcia slowed up a little bit here. It's exactly what Bateson needed. He's able to get back into a rhythm. Worked well behind the jab. He's picked the shots well. Far too wild with that right hand, Garcia.
Nearly hit you, Darren.
God, I'd have been in trouble.
Garcia just heard the 10-second clap. Wanted to finish the round strong. Bateson lands a 1-2 on the belt. Just edges himself back into the lead after a strange couple of rounds.
Yeah, that was better from Bateson. Didn't waste anything there. He was holding the centre of the ring, picking the shots out well, and yeah, he won that round.
Well, there is Giovanni Straffon. What a performance he was against James Tennyson earlier on this year. He absorbed everything the Belfast fighter had to offer and then walked through him in a first round. Maxie Hughes, a brilliant performance himself against John O'Carroll to revive his career. 2 big wins since, won the British title, the 3rd time of asking against Paul Highland Jr. earlier on this year. This would be some statement if he can do the business against Straffon later on this evening. That's second up on our televised bill. Dazn 7 o'clock around the world.
Second up, round 5.
So into the 5th round we go. A few hundred that bought tickets from Bateson are here. They know that he's been in a really good scrap so far.
These are the types of fights that you need for when you do progress. Like, I see, if he is looking to fight for the British title, I see Brad Foster's just recently won it. That'll be a cracking fight down the line. I know that that's one of Bateson's main ambitions and goals, is to, as well as a lot of professionals, isn't it, to win that Lonsdale belt outright. What a belt to have.
Yeah, of course, current British champion, and Jason Cunningham off that brilliant performance against Gamal Yafai to win the European as well. Some decent domestic fights for him, and he'll be aiming for those kinds of names down the line as well. Just a check right hook to get him out of the corner there, back to centre ring.
There's even his old teammate from Bermontov's, Kez Ashfaq, who's the same weight category that from Leeds as well.
I think they might be too good of friends to mix it in the ring though. They've come up a long way together. I don't know whether they would box each other, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Kez Ashfaq has had a bit of a stop-start career since turning pro himself, but a very, very good southpaw himself.
It was a great club, Bermontov's, wasn't it? Powerhouse, I thought.
Absolutely, yeah.
3 quality fighters all on GB. Conor Loftus, very unfortunate to be injured and not be able to pursue that professional career.
Yeah, and a few more of your GB stablemates will be here tonight, Cyrus. I hear the McCormack brothers may be in the house. Fraser Clark will be here too. How great to see him come back with an Olympic medal after so many years of patience as well.
Definitely. Yeah, it was 11 years I think he spent on the squad, so I was so happy for him. I mean, winning that medal. I know that he had to compete against Joe Joyce, Joshua, so I was really happy. It's a bit crazy that it all comes down to just 9 minutes after all those years, but
well, he made it count, didn't he? And fingers crossed we get to speak to him tonight on the broadcast a little bit later on.
Yeah, Garcia, like you pointed out in the last round, Chris, he really has slowed down. There's no pop in the shots anymore. They're more arm shots now. But still forcing Bateson back, still making him work with his feet.
Yeah, a little welt under the right eye of Bateson as well. A couple of those little check left hooks and counter left hooks that have landed. Another right hand just whistles past the nose. Still there, still lively, as you say, even if the vast majority of the dog has been taken out of him. Well, just as I say that, there's a little bit of life in him yet. Well, there we go. A little bit of WWE for you at this time of the afternoon.
Tell you what, it's filling up slowly now, isn't it? I mean, a lot more seats being filled. We spoke about it, haven't we, in the week? How electric is it going to be just before that first bell?
Well, I think
for
the
Josh
weigh-in
Warrington?
yesterday, some indication, wasn't it? Probably what 300 or 400 people there to watch the guys hit the scales. And when Josh Warrington did walk up, even though he walked first, it was yeah, some reception for him.
Yeah, it really was. Back to normality. I love it. The greatest sport in the world, and we deserve the fans. They make it what it is as well, as these fantastic warriors that leave it all in the ring.
Seconds out for your 6th and final round.
Well, no doubt that Felix Garcia is going to leave it all in the ring now, because he'll know that he's still in the mix here, but he'll also sense that he's fallen behind after a really competitive 2 or 3 middle rounds, and now he is just swinging from the hip, going to try and make life difficult for Bateson. Bateson's going to try and stick and move, you expect. Keep things low risk, get himself to the end of round number 6. I imagine this is a much tougher contest than he had anticipated.
Yeah, I think so. Won the opening round in that strange second round where it was called a knockdown, which a round I thought he'd done enough to win. In the third round I thought he'd lost. Then he's come back. Garcia faded slightly, but I'm not sure he was saving it for a big finish here, because he seems full of life in this last round. Needs to try and force a stoppage if he wants any chance of winning this, or another knockdown, of course. Bateson moving well, quick hands, quick feet, staying out of trouble. And yeah, you know, like I said before, there was some questions I wanted answered, and you know, he answered a couple this evening. What's your assessment, Cyrus?
No, I've really enjoyed his boxing. Like, he's mixed up. We know that he's very technically good. He's flighty. He's got fast hands, fast feet. And like they say, it's been nice to see him put some power and put some speed into those shots, especially going down in the body as well.
Again, just eats a counter left hook on the ropes, hangs on, just turns his man back to the ropes. Minute 30 in this 6th and final round. See from the concentration on Bateson's face, he knows that Garcia is still dangerous, even if the sting has just been taken out the tail a little bit. Still there, still game, heavy-handed.
They're just popping the shots out now, Bateson. Not really putting anything into him. Stand out of range well, moving his head. Doesn't need to be there. Doing the right thing. Turning
in the
him.
last minute, isn't it? He needs to stay switched on and stay out of trouble. I think you would have learned a lot from this fight, do you think, Darren?
Yeah, absolutely. You're in there with someone who's awkward, unorthodox, powerful, strong. Not your conventional boxer with them big looping right hands and left hooks. And I think you touched on it just there, you know, the last minute, remaining switched on throughout the fight. As you go through rounds, you cannot afford to switch off for a split second, because it can be curtains, and then you're sort of re-evaluating your career. But he's boxed nicely. Smart stuff when he's had to. Overcome some tricky periods. He's been caught with a few shots, but ultimately good job from Jack Bateson.
Yeah, really good competitive fight. It's just gives his dad a hug. And that man can give himself a pat on the back for playing his part in the contest. I think it was perhaps a little fortunate to get that knockdown when it came, but he let his hands go early against Bateson. And he punched with him, got a little bit buzzed there, just got caught cold early. That was the right hand to the body that dropped Bateson, gave him the standing 8 count, or beg your pardon, the 8 count. And I think just gave Garcia the impetus and thought, right, I can get myself back into this fight. And he's just absolutely went for it, didn't let up, and dragged Bateson into a really difficult third round.
Yeah, a round that I had Garcia winning. But he regrouped, and at this stage, he had a couple of quiet rounds previous, Garcia, but really forced himself onto Bateson. But Bateson moved well, picked the shots well, and has done enough to win this contest, in my eyes.
Yeah, I'd expect that he's put a round or two in between the pair of them, but really, really competitive that. Though I believe David Diamante has got the scorecards. He's standing by. Let's head over to ringside.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of action here at Headingley, we go to referee Mark Lyson's scorecard. It reads 58-56. For your winner, he's still undefeated, leads his own Jack Bateson.